Oh, good evening, diecast fans. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of my personal favorites as far as an automobile goes, the Lincoln Continental Mark IV. And as you see, I have several examples here. Um, Basically, two sets of them are doubles, and I'll explain how that came about and everything. So, let's dive into it. So, a little bit of history. The Continental Mark IV was built between 1972 and 1976. Personal luxury coupe offered by Lincoln. Very popular car. They sold somewhere north of about maybe 253,000 of them over that 6 year model period. And in the later years, they had some special designer editions made by the likes of people like Bill Blass, Givenchy, Emilio Pucci, and some others as well. And they also had some luxury group cars too that were very interesting. So I have basically three manufacturers here that I'm going to be showing you that made a Continental Mark IV. Yatming, Tomica, and also a company called Z/Xiaomex. And that depended on, I think, what brand they were marketing under, as which manufacturer would do it. But they were basically the same castings and everything. And I'm also going to show you some radical differences in the castings too. So let's start with this one. This is one of my Yatming Mark IVs. This is, when I was a kid, this was the very first Mark IV that I ever got. And Yatming cars back in these days, this is a late 70s casting. These were sold under the Road Champs brand, JRI Road Champs, and they had two distributorships located in Harrison, New Jersey, and Ballast-Inwood, Pennsylvania. From what I've seen, the vast majority of these cars came out of Harrison, New Jersey. This particular one came out of Ballast-Inwood. This is fresh from the blister pack. As I've said, I take the cars out of the blister pack because I want to show them off, experience them, and put them in with the interact with the displays and everything. Now, I want to talk to you about the build quality of Yatming cars. Okay, they are terrible, 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 terrible. Unfortunately, this one, however, is just about perfect because A, it was preserved in its blister pack, and B, was never played with because of that factor, so it's very well preserved. Hasn't been handled a bunch of times because what would happen to these cars is, I can tell you what happened to mine. The paint starts falling off, the chrome gets scuffed, and eventually these very flimsy wheels break. My brother and I have both had the experience where we would buy a brand new Road Champs Yatming diecast car, and the minute we crack it open out of the package, it literally falls apart. The doors come out of their sockets, the chassis sometimes is not well attached, and they just fall right apart. Another thing I'll show you is I've seen some that were brand new in the package where right in this area here, where this bumper meets the body, was like just terrible casting. Like the casting was missing, just large gaps and pockets. This one, as you can see, is just about perfect. This was probably an early run car before the tooling got really wore out. It's got a very nice lustrous paint finish with like virtually no blemishes, which is also unheard of. You'll see I have another one in the background there. That one's not quite as nice as this one, and so I'll show you that. Bumper fit and finish is very good, and it's just in really, really nice shape. Now, the doors. With the Yatmings, you have to close them very carefully. It is very easy to rip these right out of the socket, and then once you do that, you are in trouble. This one does have a defect. On the bottom, you'll see that chassis has a very rough appearance to the casting. Believe it or not, the other one over there is less than perfect. It actually has a perfect chassis, so take your pick, right? All right, so there's that one. Now let me show you this one. All right, this one's not quite as nice because there's a little bubble here in the trunk. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. There's a little bit of flash on this front bumper here. And also this one's front bumper doesn't quite fit up in there really well. And I've got another one of these I'm going to show you for a comparison. It's also a Yatming. This one, oh geez, I'm dropping it. Hang on. Good thing I have a cushioned tablecloth here. That's why I do that. You'll notice this one has good casting on the rear too. Very good fit and finish, but it just has a couple paint defects. Also the paint, I don't know if you can even see it in the camera, But the paint on this one is not as dark and lustrous as this one is. Actually, maybe you can see that difference. Yeah, look at that. This one has a little nicer paint finish to it. Same thing with the doors. You got to be very careful with these Yatming doors because they are flimsy. Here's the chassis. You'll see it's basically perfect. It's got a nice shine to it, unlike the other one that has that rough casting on it. All right, let you enjoy that. I'm going to pull something out of a case here because I forgot to pull it earlier. Give me a moment. I'm going to show you something a little weird. So as I've said, we got two Yatmings up here, and these are the early Yatmings in the late 70s. Now, eventually, Yatming began producing the same castings, but under a different product line. It was called Speeding Wheels, and you found a lot of them at like Woolworths. JRI Road Champs, they eventually began making their own cars that actually had the Road Champs name on it. They weren't relying on Yatming anymore. Now, Yatming, believe it or not, improved the quality of their castings a little bit. I'm going to show you a casting that's from the 1980s, but it's not as pretty, and you're going to see why, okay? Let me move this one out of the way. I'll take a look at this one. Wow, that's a little loud and gaudy, isn't it? Same color blue, very similar blue. I think maybe the metallic flake is a little bigger. But you have to understand, this casting was produced in the 80s. So by the 80s, a Lincoln Continental Mark IV was kind of like the, automotive equivalent of a leisure suit or an 8-track player. It's just a little bit out of style. So what Yatming felt they had to do, because they were being cheap and they wanted to continue using their old castings, they just threw these graphics on here, thinking that would make it more enticing for the kids, I guess. But oddly enough, they improved their build quality, because you'll notice this one is a one-piece chassis. The bumpers are not separate individual chrome-plated pieces, but rather are integrated into the chassis, which improved the fit and finish a little bit. It's just not as sharp and striking. Okay. Also, they improved the door quality a little bit. You'll notice this one closes very nicely with a nice little snap. They also don't know how to spell, and also don't know what model it was, because this is Continental Mark II. Okay, nice going, guys. Very tacky graphics on the roof and hood, but still just kind of neat for this, the interesting factor. And that's one of the reasons I have it kind of separated from the rest of the collection, because it's, it's a little funny. And I thought about, I kicked around the idea of maybe drilling the rivets out on this and stripping the paint and redoing it. But then I thought, you know what, let's just keep it original. It's kind of fascinating that way. So that's an 80s version of the same castings I just showed you. Built a little better, but then they tackied it up a little bit. All right, now let me show you this. I had somebody comment on this one. All right, this one is by Tomica, which is made in Japan. Okay, and I also have two of these as well. So the Tomica diecast, they are the polar opposite of the Yatming. They are well crafted, well built, incredible detail. And they were sold in America. They were sold under the brand name called Pocket Cars, and they came in this blister pack that had the card looked like a denim jean pocket with a little blister card. In their home market of Japan, they were sold in little white boxes that actually said Tomica on them, and they generally had a picture, an actual photo of the actual car, not a picture of the casting on the box. And now here in the U.S., we basically got only two versions of this car. They were both blue with a white top, but some had this cream-colored interior like this one does, and some had a red interior. Okay, there are some extremely rare Japan-only versions of this car that are absolutely stunning. Like I've seen one that's it's yellow body with a white top. I've seen one that was all silver with a red interior. There's an all-green one. There was some kind of a taupe brown colored one. So there's all these Japan-only market ones, and they are frighteningly expensive and very hard to come by. So the U.S. market ones generally are the easier ones to come by, and also a little cheaper to buy. So what you'll notice about these Tomicas is, number one, their doors close absolutely beautifully and also open absolutely beautifully. Very smooth. You don't have to be gentle with them. Just open them up. Nicely cast chassis. You'll see it has a build year of 1976 on there. Tomy was the name of the company, the parent company, and Tomica was the name of the brand. Very nicely done. This one has this one little minor blemish on the trunk. I don't even know if you can see it. The one over there has a slightly bigger blemish. I'll show you. Now this one and also the other one over there, they're not fresh from the blister. I actually bought these loose. These were loose in this good condition. And it's kind of impressive that someone kept it preserved all these years. And as you can see, Tomica's fit and finish was absolutely superior. I mean, they did a nice job. The paint on the roof on this one is absolutely flawless, just about. All right. So this one has, I'll show it to you. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera here. This one's got a major, not a major, but it's a larger blemish here on what would be the fender trim. There's a nick right there. That's really the only defect it has. There's another small defect on the top here where they got a little sloppy with the paint. But other than that, and there's a little blemish right here too. But other than that, you know, it's just very high quality. Tomica cars also have a very nice little suspension, as you'll see. Right. Very nice fit and finish, as I said. This one's got really nice shiny chrome casted in like that. And yeah, I have several Tomica cars, and I'll be happy to show them to all of you. And I love the fact that somebody noticed them and commented on them. The one commenter said that this one and also the Cadillac Fleetwood was his favorites, and I agree, they're my favorites too. That's one of the reasons I've got two of each of them. Also, I'm going to tell you something else. I've got to mention about those Yachtman cars. Their survival rate is so low because of how poorly they were built, and you know, like I said, sometimes you crack them open out of the package and they were broken as they're coming out of the package. It was unbelievable. That never happened with a Tomica. Every Tomica I ever bought as a kid was perfect. No problems with it. All right. Now let's take a look at this one. This one's kind of the oddball of the group. So this is made by a company called, it says right on the bottom, it says Z. Okay. Now sometimes you would get these and they'd say Zylemex. It depended on, I'm not sure what the story was behind that. I don't pretend to know. But I just know some of these were sold under Z and some were sold under Zylemex. This is an early build car, and I can tell because of the wheel design. And I'm going to show you what the newer wheel design was that they came out with in the later 80s. And you've already seen this car briefly in one of the other videos I did, this little Mercedes. This here is the other wheel design that they had. See that right there? It's like a spoke. Almost like they're trying to imitate like a wire spoke design or something. There was a version of this Lincoln that came with these wheels later on. But this version here is from, I believe, 1981. And Z and Zylemex cars, I can tell you, they were probably as poorly built or maybe even worse than the Yachtman cars. And they're another one you have to be careful with. They did do the one-piece casting with the bumpers, unlike Yachtman did in the early days. What's unique is that they chose to go a completely different route with the color scheme. They went with a gold and black. And you know, in 1974, I remember there was an actual color combination you could get on a Mark IV. And the years, or rather the year and make that these would be is between 1974 and 1976 by the style here. But this one is fresh out of a blister. It was probably, I searched very hard to find one of these in the blister so it would be perfect, but I found some that, believe it or not, they were fresh in the blister, and right here on this passenger fender, there was a hole, an actual hole where the casting did not fill in properly. And I was like, wow, you guys' quality control must have been really bad if you completely missed that. This one, however, is perfect. It's got nice lustrous paint, doors open and close very well, the wheels roll very nice. Sometimes I also noticed on these little side windows here, they didn't quite fill out very well either, whoever did the injection molding. But like I said, this one's just about perfect. And I'm just a big fan of these cars. I had one. I had a 1973 many years ago. Gosh, it was kind of a terrible car. It was a gas hog, and it needed everything. But you know what? It had some fun moments with it too. But yeah, this is just one of my personal favorites. I know it's some of your personal favorites as well. And I hope you really enjoyed this. This video ran a little longer, probably because I had so much more to show you and say. But anyways, that's all of our Lincolns. I'll showcase the Cadillacs in another video. In the meantime, you guys enjoy yourselves and keep it real. See you next time.